I'd like to speak with you today about the inner meaning of the teachings of Christianity. This is a form of the religion of Christianity that is little known to the world. You may know Christianity through the externals of what you see on television, what you see going on in churches, the rituals, traditions, what you grew up with. All of these are the surface of a religion that goes back 2,000 years. Now, religion means to relink, to reconnect us with spirit. Let me say that there's a saying from a profoundly spiritual man of our century, a priest from Belgium, that Jesus did not come to bring us a new religion. He came to put us directly in touch, in an intimate, personal way, with the Spirit of God, with the Holy Spirit, with that higher power from which we come, which has made us, created us, known us before we were born, lift us beyond the animal world of senses into the true dignity of being human, which is the spiritual realm. You know, if that's troubling to you as a rational person of the 21st century, just think about it. Our thoughts and emotions are invisible. You can look at somebody from the outside and have no idea what's going on inside. Sometimes we ourselves don't know what's going on inside of us. But our true identity is in our psychological, spiritual selves. And yet people identify themselves according to the surface. So this mystery of who we are is what Jesus comes to unveil. That's what makes him a revealer of truth. That we are children of the Holy One, not just of our earthly parents. Our potential is so much greater than we might imagine. Our opportunity for peace and joy, happiness, fulfillment, all that we yearn for, is possible in a way that most people miss, go to their graves not knowing. So just like we do not realize the extent of our true identity in the invisible realm, if you will, and only stick to what we see in the mirror, so too do we not realize that church, Christianity, are only the outside, the vessel carrying a cargo that is the truly precious materials that are offered to us by the grace of God. The truth inherent in the revelation of Jesus is not found in ornaments and buildings and rituals. It is found in the spiritual awakening, the stirring within that it creates for us. It seems that many people are satisfied with that external. It's comforting, it's habitual, it's familiar, it's nostalgic, and sometimes it does indeed enable, intensify that connection with the deeper things. But make no mistake about it, we are not meant to stop at the surface. And quite often the surface keeps us from the deeper. When religion is limited to that, that's when we get superstition, simplistic thinking, half-truths, intolerance, disconnection between science and religion, all of the fragmentation that we know so well. So many highly educated people can't relate to religion because they only see that surface. Ironically, they don't see its true depths and so reject what they think is religion, teachings. These external religions also create the separation between the wisdoms of different peoples. You see, we come very much closer together when the heart of the matter is unveiled. When the best of Hinduism, Islam, Christianity are uncovered, then we're dealing with people who love God. Period. We're not dealing with enculturated things, with prejudices of different times and places, dealing with ecstatic love of God. think of Rumi the poet, also known as Mevlevin, whose delight in the reality of God caused him to dance spontaneously. He gave rise to the dervishes of Sufism and the mystical dimension of Islam. But we don't see that. We see what we see on the news now. The same is true with Christianity. We see the televangelists quite often selling us something, trying to keep up their budget for the television programs. We don't have presented to us the transforming, powerful truths that are at the heart of the Christian teaching. So today I'd like to walk with you into that dimension. You know, it's astonishing to discover that in the 4th century already, in the Egyptian desert, that kind of profoundly practical, applicable teaching, the teaching that can heal you of your psychic wounds, was known and shared. The great teachers, Evagrius, Isaac the Syrian, John Climacus, who wrote The Ladder of Divine Ascent. Down through the centuries, these men and women closely linked to the origins of the faith were sharing a wisdom teaching that was extraordinarily potent and enabled people to truly connect with the spiritual dimension, spiritual reality that awakened their spirits and made them more than they would have been otherwise. And that has been lost to us. One of the reasons is that in 1054 there was this great split between the Roman Catholic Church of the West and the early church, now called the Eastern Orthodox Church of the East of the Byzantine Empire. And so we in the West grew up in an environment completely disconnected. Great teachings and insights of the early masters of the faith, the spiritual guides, spiritual directors, teachers that came down from the traditions of the Middle East, where Jesus walked, where his apostles taught. We do find links down through history. Those links between East and West are through the mystics in particular. It is the lovers of God who believed in the experience of God and tasting and seeing that kept alive this flame of truth that can be verified by your own experience. In the last 30, 40 years, this is being rediscovered. Finally, there are translations of these ancient teachings. As we become one global community, all these things become more available. So it's time for us to reclaim the wholeness of Christianity. Not the Middle Ages, not the Reformation, not the Puritans, but the whole gamut of Christian tradition, spiritual tradition, that was meant to be ours, offered to us. If you want inner freedom from your worries and fears, if you want to learn how to develop a compassion that takes you out of yourself, all of these are available. There is a knowledge, Greek word gnosis, an inner knowledge about inner things that was at the heart of Christianity from the beginning. In the 2nd century, Clement of Alexandria, teaching of this gnosis. It would take 3 years for a new Christian to study before going to baptism. Now we baptize children without much thought. But there's a great science of the Spirit to be shared that is alive and well and available to us. So you who seek for deep truth, for the mystery and sacredness of life, don't give up looking just because the externals seem to be the opposite of what they should be. Keep searching, it is to be found. You will find that pearl of great price. In fact, you will be led to it. So don't give up. One day, you will be given that which will set your heart on fire, and you will become a new person, the person you were always meant to be. May God bless you in this search.